welcome to Sunday Breakfast Live. It's great to have you with us on this Remembrance Sunday. I'm Sally.
I'm Joyce.
And I'm Bethany. And it's great to have you with us. Say hello in the comments, give a good morning, and then we'll know who we've got.
And whilst we're all settling in, have you had a good week? Do let us know if something really good's happened this week. What's been the highlight this week? Just pop it in the chat below underneath. So what's coming up today, Joyce?
Well, we've got the puppets back again today with another one of Jesus' fantastic stories, as well as doing lots of swaps with cards. I wonder, maybe they're even troll cards, Joseph. What do we think? But what if they had the opportunity to have the best card in the pack? We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
And I'll be using paper plates and cotton wool bobs to make some lovely seashells, and we'll find out why later.
And we've got the house's favourite song, Our God is a Great Big God.
And Sally will be talking about what's inside those seashells in our still moments.
And yeah, we're talking today about things that are really precious. So I thought the question for today, what's the bestest, brilliant, most favourite gift you've ever been given? What's the most precious present you've ever been given? Something that's really special to you. So we're not just talking about something that was really expensive or cost a lot of money. That doesn't count. Well, it can count. Or it might be the best present you've ever been given. But what's really made you go, wow, that is so precious to me. What have you been given? Just let us know, because it'll come up a bit later.
Yeah, so if you were to put that in the chat, we will be talking about it later, and I'm sure it'll be some quite surprising stuff, because it's the more meaningful things. It's not necessarily like the most outlandish.
No.
But should we see who we've got with us today?
Yes, let's have a look on the Facebook chat. And hello to Ashra and Thea. Give us a wave.
Hello, Thea.
Yes. Hello, Elaine. Up there in Rossendale.
And good morning to Carla, Luna and Mia. Great to see you again.
Yes, definitely. Give us a wave, Luna. And who else have we got? Got Jennifer. Nice to see you. Megan.
And Andrea. Good to see you again.
And presumably Nick. Oh, my goodness. My mum's on.
Oh, best behaviour, Sally.
I
know. Sit up straight.
Hello, Jean. Give us a wave. And we've got Christy, and we've got Anne. I can't read your writing, Mike.
Anna Mike.
Oh, we've got Jill as well. Good morning, Jill.
Hello,
Great to see you.
Oh, so what else is coming up today? Oh, yes, it's time for the puppets. Smooth.
It's a puppet.
Dead smooth, this, isn't it?
It's a puppet.
Puppets. Yeah.
I've got 40 cards now, but none of the rare ones.
I've got 15. I know Arnie has 22. And Bodger has 38.
How many is that altogether?
40 plus 15 is 55. Plus 22 makes 77. Then there's the 38 that Bodger has, which is 115, I think.
All right, you two. What have you got there then?
Oh, hi, Bella. We're counting our cards. We've got 115 altogether. How many have you got?
Oh, I ain't counted them for weeks. I did have 281. But I've got a new packet here my uncle's just given me. Do you want to open it together?
Oh, you are lucky having an uncle who owns a newsagent. I wish he'd give me packets of them. I bet you have some really rare ones.
Oh, it's all right, I suppose. I'm not really that bothered about these cards like you are. I think I'm going to be giving them away, actually. You can share them out between you.
Oh, cool, Bella. But let's see what you have in your packet.
I've got that one and that one. Hang on a minute, what's this? I've never seen it before. It's called Marmazade.
Marmazade? That's the top one. No one I know has ever got that one. It's really rare. What are you going to do with it?
Oh, I don't know, do I? What do you think I should do with it?
I'd keep it.
I don't really care about them like you do I?
I'd give you all the cards I had for a swap.
Don't be daft, man. She's just said she's not that bothered. And she's got all the ones we have too. You'll have to think of something better than that.
I've thought of something. She can have my computer.
I can see you haven't asked your parents about that. I'm having a new bike for my birthday. She can have the old one.
I'm gonna give her everything I have. And all next year's spending money. So there.
The puppets were being a bit silly about that card, weren't they? I mean, I don't really think they'd give up all the things they said they would, do you? Well, Jesus told stories that seemed a bit silly sometimes, to make people laugh, as well as making them think. One of them is a short story. It's called a parable. Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is like this. There was once a merchant looking for fine pearls, and one day he found one pearl that was so amazing, the most beautiful of all pearls. It was so special that he went and sold everything that he'd got just to buy that one." I think the reason that Jesus told this story was to make sure that people understand that heaven is such a precious place that it's worth giving everything you've got to be there. You can't buy a place in heaven, but you can give your time to finding out the way to get there.
Well, I'll be talking more about that story shortly, about the kingdom of heaven, God's kingdom. But we're going to go back to that question. What's the bestest, most precious gift you've ever been given? Something that's really, really special to you. Don't forget to let us know in the chat. I know some of you have started, which is great. So Bethany, what's been your bestest, most precious present you've been given?
It's so hard to single something out, but in terms of something that was given to me that's very precious was I absolutely adored reading as a child, and so I think last year they released a whole load of these books, and this one's The Secret Garden, that has like pop-out stuff, little games, the actual story. Oh, I'm struggling to get it on camera. and all sorts of beautiful illustrations. And it's just, even just to have it in your hands, it's just wonderful. And that someone thought like that was gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a really special book. It's a real book fiend.
I love that story. There's a new film out as well. Have you seen the film yet, Bethany? The new updated version of The Secret Garden?
Yeah.
I've got that ready to watch. Yeah, it's lovely. I love this story. I remember that from being young.
Yeah, that's on our list to watch, isn't it?
So what about you, Joyce?
Well, mine's slightly different. As some of you may know, a few years ago I wasn't very well at all, and I couldn't breathe, and things weren't looking great. I was on oxygen 24 hours a day. I was in a wheelchair, and I was the only hope I was given was that I would need a lung transplant in order to survive. And as you may know, they're very few and far between. So things weren't looking great. And then on New Year's Day, 7 years ago nearly now, I received from an amazing stranger and her family, I received that precious gift of new lungs, which of course has enabled me to breathe again and to be able to walk and move. And and to spend that time with my family, which is so important to me, and to have that extra time with my friends, and make it new memories. It's been absolutely an amazing gift for which I will every day be forever grateful.
That is an incredible gift, and we do thank God.
Absolutely.
For all of that.
Yeah. So you Sally, what about you? What's your precious gift?
Mine pales into insignificance. Because being given the precious gift of life, I mean, it comes down to that, doesn't it? Being given life.
Yeah.
Just looking back over the years, one of the most precious things that I've been given over the years, because it led from one thing to another, was my treble recorder. Now, it wasn't a descant, because I'd learned to play descant, but Mum and Dad bought me this for Christmas one year, which has led to me playing other musical instruments, and eventually led me to working in music. And so that was a special gift. I mean, I've got hundreds of really special gifts, but I am going to play this for you. This is my gift to you this morning. That's all you're getting.
It's a nice sound, isn't it? It's not the screechy plastic ones that we're used to from schools.
No, I could have brought my sopranino out, which is the really small one, and you've got to have your fingers really close, and I love playing that. But yeah, anyway, speaking of music, it's time for our favourite action song.
Yay!
Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He's higher than a skyscraper. He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He's higher than a skyscraper. He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. And He holds us in His hands. And He holds us in His hands. And He holds us in His hands.
Well, I've got our candle lit now, and today we're thinking about what is really precious. And with the puppets, when Bella looked at her cards, she didn't even know she had the best card, Mama Zade. And she wasn't that bothered, was she? But the boys thought very differently. They really wanted that card because they knew its value, that it was so special, and thoroughly worth giving their bike and their computer up to have it. Would you give up your computer at the moment? So let's listen to Jesus' short story again. Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is like a jeweller looking out for the finest pearls. And when he found a pearl more beautiful and valuable than one he'd ever seen, the jeweller sold all he had and bought that pearl. It was his pearl of great price." Now, there are at least two secret meanings in Jesus' story here. The first one is talking about God's kingdom. And when people finally figure out what God's kingdom really is and what it's all about, they see how valuable it is, how valuable Jesus is, meaning that they quit their old ways of doing things, usually hurtful, mean, and unhelpful things, and start doing things God's way, which is always the best. And that helps everyone, doesn't it? God always has your best interests at heart. In that way, the kingdom is so valuable that even if you give up everything else, even if you lose everything else, but you're with God, then it's worth it. Now, there are others who say that what Jesus is really teaching here is that he is the jeweller on the lookout for something precious, something more beautiful and valuable than any jewel he'd ever seen. And that pearl is a bit like you. And he's so excited to have you and be with you that the jeweller sells everything, gives everything up, even his own life, just to have you for himself, because you are precious. So what do you think? Are you the jeweller looking for fine pearls? Or are you a priceless treasure? Do you want to know what I think? Well, I think the answer is yes. Yes to both. You are a priceless treasure to God. And the Bible makes it so clear where it says, if God didn't hesitate to put everything on the line for us, embracing our human condition and exposing himself to the worst of humanity by sending his own son, is there anything else he wouldn't gladly and freely do for us? And another yes. I think you are a person who has found something so special, so valuable, that even if you lost everything else, but you had that which is represented by this pearl, God's kingdom, God, then you're a winner. So you can know that you are precious, a precious treasure to God. And now that you have him, you can lose everything else, but as long as you still have him, you still have everything. Now I've got some cotton wool balls here that look a little bit like pearls that are found inside very special shells, and we're going to be using those to make some lovely shells in our craft in a moment. So thank you, God, that you come searching for each one of us, considering each one of us to be like that precious pearl, full of worth and value. And thank you, God, that you are so precious, that we can search and search for you and find you. You are worth more than everything because you are everything. Amen. And what do we say at Oasis? We say, Amen.
Oh, brilliant. So today we are going to be making seashells. And the reason we're going to be making seashells is because we were talking about pearls before. All morning we've been talking about pearls because they're so precious. And one of the reasons why they're precious is the way that they're made. They take many, many years to form on the inside of certain seashells. So we thought we could make some seashells and we could see the precious pearl on the inside. Gosh, if a pearl was this big, we'd be rich.
We really would be rich. Yeah.
So we are going to show you how to make one of these shells, starting with a paper plate. So this paper plate that we're using for this craft is not too shiny, and this means that the ink or the paint isn't going to just rub off or roll off later. So we can make it all nice and colourful and it'll stay that way. So to start off with, the first thing we need to do is fold this in half. I'm going to press it down really nice and well, and then we may need a grown-up to help us with this next bit because we need to stop it looking like a pasty and start making it look like a shell by going to the edge at this side and going about halfway between the start of the ribs and the end of the ribs. So we're going to start halfway and we're going to make some waves. We're going to make it wavy. So we're not doing triangles, or we'll end up with something that looks like a flower or a sun. So we've got wavy sides, and this is what will make it look like a shell. Okay, so I've got one I've gone through already, and we end up with something that looks like this. Now, we can start to think about colour. So one option is to use paint. So here we've used blue and pink poster paint, which is great fun, get a bit messy. And what you end up with when you use that is a shell that looks like this, because shells that make pearls have a dark outside, so we've used blue, and then they have like this lovely pink inside. But the shell doesn't quite have a pearl yet. So what we're going to need to do is take some Pritt stick, and we're going to need to take a cotton wool ball. And this would be a very, very big, very expensive pearl if this pearl was really this big. So we're going to put a blob of glue here on this side. So just, so you can see it, here. And then another blob of glue at the top here, like that. And then we're going to put the pearl in there and sandwich it down so that it sticks on both sides, so press down really hard. And now we have got a lovely shell with a very expensive pearl inside. But if you don't have paint, you might want to use some felt tips. So this is one I coloured in using felt tips, and I got a bit creative. You can too. With this one, I gave the shell the outline in segments with a silver pen, and then just did alternate colours with light blue and dark blue, and went with the inside again with felt tips. So with this one, you have a lot of options if you want to use felt tips. But there is a different way of making a shell.
Yes, there is. I've got one here, and this is one that older children can have a really good go at. And all you need is a ruler, the printout, and your cotton wool ball. So let's get on with it. Okay, so you need to print the template onto an A4 sheet or whatever paper you want. I just fancied this parchment paper because I thought, oh, that gold, make it look nice and shimmery. So then you just cut out the template. Now what you need to do is you take your ruler, because there's a lot of folding going to take place in a very small area, so it's a lot easier to do it and use the guidelines here. But before we do that, you need to write on the back your message that you want to say about being precious. So I'm going to use this pen over here and say, you are precious. Okay, so turn that back for now, and then where the lines are, put your ruler up and it all has to match. So you find the bottom point and and you pick it up slightly with your fingers and push it onto the ruler and go right down the ruler, and then you've got a line to fold over, and then you do that with every line. So you've got folded, and then you turn it over, and in the middle of each of these scallops here, you need to position your ruler back to the same point at the tip here, but you put it in the middle of the scallop, and then you fold it again, just like that. And there you have a crinkly shell now that's all 3D, and that's really, really good. So then you take this rectangle piece and you put a triangle's worth of glue in the middle, like that, and then you stick it down like that. Oh, maybe just a little bit further up. There we go. Now, if that's still curling, I would put just a little bit of glue there, and maybe a little bit there, just to hold it down a little bit more. And you see, now there's the shell. But we need a pearl, don't we? So this is where you do a big blob, and there is your pearl. So there we are. And it's a really good reminder that we are very, very precious to God. And I'm going to keep that by my bedside, just as a reminder, because we do need reminding every so often, don't we? Yes. Anyway, time for the gallery. So what have we got coming up in the gallery?
Love the jam jar, Andrea.
Is it jam? Could be something else.
Well, that's true. Good improvisation.
Improv.
Oh, there's even a boat on that one.
Oh, Wendy! I think Wendy's mum coloured that in.
Oh, wow, Luna. That's incredible.
Beautiful autumn colours there on your tree.
It's taller than you. Oh, and Joseph for this card that we were talking about before. Amazing.
Oh, yes. Well done. Well done, everybody. And do send us your craft. You know, if you get up to things in the week, that you take a photo and pop it in our gallery for show and tell.
Yeah.
That would be really good. Anyway, it's nearly time to wrap up, so shall we give a few more shout outs and to those who've been saying what their precious things have been. Who have we got on still? We've got hello Lindy, hello Lindy, and Pat. We've got Pat, hello Pat, and Jess. We've got Stacey, hello Stacey, and Charlotte. So what precious things do you want to?
Oh yeah, so Andrea was talking about a wonderful thing that happened for her birthday this year, where in one of her classes at school, a child had given her some chocolate beautifully wrapped in some gold glittery paper, like particularly nicely wrapped, so that the child had really, really thought about it, which was just so precious. So nice.
Real gem.
And a common theme was that Luna said her baby sister, so cute, and chocolate. So sisters and chocolate, very good. But speaking of chocolate, you might be interested in the craft that we're doing next week, because we're going to be making chocolate crispy cakes that we can all share together.
Oh, you've actually decided.
Yes.
Chocolate crispy cakes.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Wow,
Well-
sounding good.
Yeah. Well, other precious things. Megan was saying her husband gave me, that's Sam. Hi, Sam. Gave me a jar full of nice quotes and positive things from family and friends. Now, that is a precious gift.
Yeah.
That's really good, that. And Lindy, go on. Joyce, do you know what Lindy said?
Yeah, Lindy's most precious gifts are her 5 grandchildren. 5. Oh my word. I can feel a very expensive Christmas coming on, Lindy. Every single year.
Worth it.
But I'm shy. I know they're worth every penny. I know they are. They're so special. And Ashra's had a great week with Thea this week. They've been watching the fireworks all around, as I'm sure we all have as well. And she's been toasting marshmallows in the fire pit. How good is that? Fantastic.
Amazing.
All this talk of chocolate and marshmallows and yeah. Anyway, so what's coming up next week, Joyce?
Well, next week the puppets have been sent some chocolates, but what's she going to do with them? I wonder. It's all about the chocolate, isn't it?
Yep. I jumped the gun and told you about the craft that we're doing next week, which I repeat is chocolate crispy cakes.
Nom, 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 nom,
Always
nom.
worth a repeat. It's
Yeah.
always worth it.
Oh, and Joyce, it's you.
Yeah, and don't forget, please send us your photos of your seashell craft that you've been making, or as Sally said, any craft. We just love to see what you've been doing. It's great to see the pictures and to put them out on our Facebook for everyone to see.
Oh, indeed. And of course, we want to say thank you to Mr. Mike Techie. Yeah, give us a wave. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And in the meantime, it's time to go. We hope you have a wonderful week and may you know God's peace and blessing, and that you'll be able to join us this time next week for Sunday Breakfast Live.